Right, so I'd just obviously like to welcome you to our Meet the Tutor event. Thank you for everybody for turning up and obviously joining the meeting. A couple of notices there, just make sure that microphones are off and cameras are off as well, just makes it easier. And then if you've got any questions with anything that pops up, then just type them in the chat facility that's obviously on the Google Hangout. Okay. Right, so that's me. That's my name, Mr. Duckworth. Just a quick introduction, really. I'm a PE teacher at Rowmass Community School. I've been teaching at Rowmass for 10 years. Obviously, I love it at Rowmass. We have a lot of great kids there, and it's been a great 10 years that I've had. So you come into a good school where students do really well, and you'll be supported along the way. But obviously, from my point of view, I'm glad that you're coming to Rowmass as well, because I think you'll get a great education there as well. Just along the bottom there, that's my email address. If you've got any questions afterwards or anything like that, both for students and parents. So if you've got a pen and paper, just maybe take a few notes along the way. This will be getting sent out anyway, so you won't have to take it down word for word or anything like that. Okay. So in terms of our form group then, in September, our form group will be 7.7, and that's what our group will be known as. Now, in terms of that will maybe only be a short time that you may be in my tutor group, because what will happen just after Christmas time, possibly, groups and tutor groups will get divided up and mixed up again. And as you can see there, if you can see the presentation, it's based on the attendance, effort and punctuality and behaviour of students up to that point. So we have a different style of sort of tutor programme where we try to support students in different ways. And that's what we'll do probably around, obviously, Christmas time and New Year. This is our school day. And obviously, if you have a quick look at that, you can see we've got four main periods. They're your lessons. Each lesson's an hour and 20, and which are quite long, but you'll find that they actually go a little bit quicker than you think. With this, you'll get your timetable on your first day, and all your lessons will be on there. You'll know what teachers you've got, and you'll know what rooms you've got to be in. So don't worry about in terms of where you've got to be, who you're with, what lesson, what classroom. Everything will be sort of laid out to you and given to you on your first day. If not, maybe posted out before. I'm not quite sure, but there's a lot of good students in terms of older students that will guide you around school anyway, and they're quite nice with those year sevens, and they'll take you around. Plus, you probably know a lot of other students at Rowmass anyway, which you can ask if you're not sure where you're going and things like that. So as it says there, on your first 2 days, you'll be getting to know obviously the rest of your tutor group, and you'll be getting to know the school surroundings, where the sports hall is, for example, where the cafeteria is, for example, and obviously where the main toilets are. So with that, I'm sure there's maybe a little bits of bit of worry and things like that, but don't be too worried. There's a lot of things that we can help you with when you get to Rowmass. The good thing there is that you've got 2 breaks, and both breaks are half an hour long, which breaks the day up really nicely. You've got 2 lessons there back to back, and then you have a good break. Then you've got 1 lesson, another break, and then another lesson to finish the day. So I've worked in different sort of times of the day with different lessons and things, and I found that this sort of suits us best in terms of getting you through the day and not feeling like it's too long or too short even. So it is quite a good format for the day. All right. As you can see there, form period, which is where I'll meet you every day, is 20 minutes long. Usually between 15 minutes of sort of time that we get together by the time we get into the classroom. So we have a warning bell that rings at 8:40. So that's basically to get you, say, right, so let's get to tutor before 8:45. If you turn up to tutor or your form beyond 8:45, then you'll probably be getting a late mark, because as you can see there, that's when the morning register's taken, at 8:45 or as close as. So we do send that warning bell out there to get you moving and get you onto your tutor. All right. One morning per week we'll be in the main hall, and we'll have an assembly with Mr. Bartle, which I'm sure you're mostly familiar with. He's your head of year, and yeah, and obviously he'll do assemblies on a range of things, topical things that are current affair things, and maybe just things around school that he thinks that maybe need addressing at that point. Where I come in on the other days where we're not in assembly, we'll be doing activities which include quizzes, themed learning. We might learn about different types of behaviours, might learn about local charities that we can help and how we go about doing things like that. We'll review a lot of your data as well. So in terms of what's your attendance like, your late data, if you have any late, what's your effort, because we have an effort system at Rowmass, as well as CFPs and CFCs. So if you don't know what CFPs are, they're called cause for praise. Now, if you do something good in school, maybe something that you're volunteering with, you do a good piece of work, you've helped somebody, or you've helped a teacher, then you'll get a cause for praise. And yeah, they obviously go on your record, and it's a good thing to obviously have. Whereas cause for concern, which is your CFC, that's if you've had some poor behaviour. You might have a bit of a cause for concern in terms of your attendance or your lates, in terms of tutor. I tend to try and not do that in terms of put cause for concern on. I just try and maybe talk to you about why you're getting maybe not turning up to school on time, and we try and sort of work around it that way instead of it being sort of on your record. So in terms of that, don't worry about it. You'll possibly get more CFPs than CFCs. Well, that's what I hope, being in my tutor, and hopefully then it sets you off on a good step in that first sort of term. We'll see where we're at. We'll obviously review that at some point. Now, part of obviously our school, we've got a school uniform, and if you've got brothers and sisters, you'll know about this. And as you can read it there, it's on the screen. Black tailored trousers or black knee-length skirt with the Wickersley Partnership logo on there, and it must be in the upper part of the leg. We need a white shirt and a clip-on school tie. And over the top of that, obviously, we have it pretty much all year round, really, as a school uniform, but especially in the winter, you'll need your black V-neck school jumper with the Rowmass logo, and obviously a cardigan as well with that logo on as well. Now, in summer, sometimes, obviously, we get the hot weather. We even get that in England, don't we? So it's up to the teachers, and sometimes the lessons that you're in where that teacher will say, yeah, you can take your jumper off. But one of the rules is that you must have your school jumper on at all times around school. Okay, so in terms of that, just be aware of that, and then you come to school in full school uniform. Now, obviously, as it's been at the minute, we've had a lot of shops closed in terms of, with the virus and whatnot. We'll work around that situation in terms of you coming into school if you've not managed to get your uniform as yet. I am aware, I think that Pinders have just opened their shop, so you may be able to get it from now. So again, if there's any problems with that, just contact school. We'll work with you with it, and obviously get you into school, which in any case. Now, obviously in PE, we have a uniform as well, which I quite like. I like this uniform. Really stands out when we go to fixtures and things like that. But obviously within your lessons, these are the basics that you need. So as you can see, we've got your black Rowmass shorts, your black Rowmass polo shirts, and for the boys, we've got a 3/4 zip jumper, and for the girls, we've got a hoodie. Now, with that, which is not on there, is black socks. Now, in terms of boys especially, black football socks for when you're doing your football, your rugby, and obviously then other activities throughout the year. One thing that's not on there in terms of boys is we do generally do for year 7s is rugby and football in that first term. So it is advisable that you do get some cheap, rugby boots or football boots. Now they're not essential. They're not, they're not there as that you have to have them. But from a safety aspect, especially if it's been raining and things like that, going up onto our top field when it's raining is quite dangerous, especially when you play football and rugby. So that's me putting my PE jumper on and saying, from a PE point of view, especially boys and sometimes girls, depending on what activities they do, sometimes do some football and rugby. It's advisable to get some football boots. In terms of your everyday school uniform and your footwear, then they are good examples of what we allow at school. And as you can see, we've got a big green tick there. And as you can see, plain black leather footwear with no stripes or logos. So the main key parts there is that they're not fabric, they're not canvas, it's leather. But obviously we now, as you can see, you can get leather types of trainers, and they must be all black. Okay. So I know some boys might want to wear night trainers, but if they've got a white tick on them, they'll not be allowed. So please, especially parents, invest in some black leather trainers or shoes. We don't want you to be sort of wasting money on that. Okay. Here's some examples of what you can't wear actually. So as you can see, the Adidas ones on the left, we've got big white stripes, so we don't allow that. Plastic types, big buckles, and things that are not leather, and ones where they've got bubbles in as well around the heel area. So obviously, I have a bit of time to decide on what style of shoe you're going to use. I'm just going to click back to that one. I mean, for me, the smarter option is to have your leather shoes. I always think that anyway, but we have got other options that make it more accessible for everybody. With our uniform policy, we've got certain things where there's no makeup, there's no or nails, or makeup should be discreet, should I say. False eyelashes and nails. I wouldn't expect a lot of year 7s to have this at this point. It's more for when students get into sort of older year groups, when they start developing a bit and they want to change their image. So jewellery must be kept to a minimum. A small earring or sleeper or stud in each ear. Facial piercings are not allowed. And also with that, and as you can see, tongue piercings as well, which do happen at Rowmass, but obviously we don't allow that. And sometimes we ask them to either take them out or they put a retainer in there. Now, on where you can see a green tick, we do awards, and if you receive one of these awards in your first year, which I'm sure a lot of you will, we do want you to wear them and show that you're proud of what your achievements are. So you maybe get a gold, silver, or bronze pin badge, and put it on your tie, put it on your jumper. Let other people, let other staff know of your successes at school, which is what we always want you to do. The canteen or cafeteria, it might be referred to, is obviously where you'll be collecting your food if you eat from the cafeteria. Obviously, people will have packed lunches and things like that. But again, you'll have a personal account where you can put money on, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But again, I'll show you a range of a menu, an example menu. And the good thing about when you first start at Rowmass is on your second period, at the end of your second period, you'll go to your lunch 10 minutes early. So, which will give you time to sort of get used to your surroundings, how everything works, and obviously give you that time to get settled. So each break time, those lessons will be slightly shorter, your period 2 and period 3. Parent pay is obviously where you put your money onto your food account, so obviously you can pay for your food. as it says there, letters will be going out to parents in September with your login details for that. Obviously, I'm not sure about primary school and how that works, but I'm pretty sure that some of you will have been fairly familiar with it, and it just works as normal if you know it already. The letter that comes out will have all the instructions on the details that you need to do to obviously access it and things like that. We don't operate in terms of cash at the till. It's all thumbprint. So each individual student will get a thumbprint, and you'll press your thumb on the scanner, and it'll obviously read what amount of cash you've got on there, and obviously it'll take it out of your account. You can add money at school, so you can bring money in and add it to your account, but obviously it's better not to carry money around school and things like that. It's best to get parents to put it on there. So this is just an example of a menu from a day at school. So in terms of your breakfast, you can see what we've got there. In terms of, you can have a bacon sandwich, a cup of tea, you get a coffee and a hot chocolate, or if you want a fruit drink for your breakfast, you can get that. There's snacks, and I mean, I sometimes get myself in there for a bit of a cookie or a flapjack at a break time, because they are quite nice. And obviously there you've got your lunch, which we do different days, and I'm sure you'll find out a little bit more about this. In certain days, you'll have different types of foods. So Mondays might be like a pie, or Tuesdays might be a burger, pizzas, and Friday might be fish and things like that, fish and chips. So this is just an example of what you'll do. And as you can see in that yellow box there, you do have they do meal deals for where you get a sandwich, drink, and a snack. So quite a good option. Now, in terms of coming to Tutor, this is what is expected in terms of what you come to my tutor with. And it's not just me, that's just what we run as a school, but I'm quite keen on it because one of the things that, as you go through your school, and obviously when you go into work in life, and a lot of your parents will know this, if you don't have the right tools for a particular job, then you can't do that job to the best of your ability. So I'm quite keen on you having your pens, your pencils, your rulers, sharpeners, rubbers. If you've got a calculator at home, bring it with you. Any other objects that you can put in your pencil case that we're going to help you through the day. And one of the things that I will do every morning is we'll have an equipment check. So I'll ask you to hold up your 2 pens, your pencil and your ruler. So I'm sure a lot of you will be already equipped and ready to go in September with all your equipment. But again, get yourself a pencil case, fill it up with what you need, and obviously put it in your rucksack, ready to start at school. This is just a bit of information about design and technology. Obviously through year 7 and going beyond that, you'll do a lot of practical work in design and technology. So what they ask you to do is contribute what I think is about £10 for the year. And what they will do is supply all the product that you need in terms of cooking, materials if you're doing woodwork or anything like that, which I think is quite a good deal. And also, it's just basically from an hygiene and health perspective, where we're in control of what you're cooking with rather than what other people are bringing into school. So we just know that it's all good. So with that, obviously, you'll get your ingredients for food, your fabrics for sewing and wood and things for woodwork, and anything else that might go with it. And as it says there, I think this has been quite taken up by other year 7s as they come through to Rowmass, is that they've started bringing their own aprons and things like that. Whereas, we do supply them, but you can bring your own if you want to. You may be or may not be familiar with Sam Learning. This is an online program where teachers and staff put work on there, and actually there's a lot of work already accessible from there, where it helps you with homework and things like that. So you'll get a login for that as you arrive at Rowmass. and that'll give you access to do your homework or any other classwork that the teacher may have put on for you, just as a bit of an extra. But it is a really good sort of resource where there's a lot of subjects on there and a lot of different types of tasks that you can use, and you'll use it throughout the year. It's a really sort of tool that we use quite frequently. A big one here, I think, for a lot of us, including myself, is mobile phones. So as it is, mobile phones are allowed in school, but they're only used as a sort of a learning tool in lessons initially. And that's basically given by, your permission given by your teachers. So if you're doing a task and you need to work out, I don't know, so a little bit of maths and you need a calculator, then the teacher may let you, or will probably let you use your phone to do that. Other than that, your phones you're allowed to use them at break times, but only in tutor rooms. So not walking around sort of corridors, not out at break time. I mean, if that's the case, as you can see there, the phones are taken or confiscated from you, and then you get them back at the end of the day. But if it's a frequent thing, and then it'll be something where we have to speak to parents about. There can be a lot of issues with using phones in school, which we have had before. People videoing certain things and stuff like that. It's not really what we want in school. So be mindful of that. What I would suggest is, and I'll obviously reaffirm this when I get to see you in person, is turn it off, put it in your bag, and then if you do need it, it's there for you. But it's not a distraction otherwise. Okay. A little bit on behaviour. So as you can see there, we operate a same-day detention system that all instances of unacceptable behaviour are dealt with promptly. So if it's misbehaviour, in fact, I'll start at the top. Pastoral detention. If you're late to school, then you'll be put into a same-night detention. So at the end of that day, you'll have probably a 10-15-minute detention in terms of if you're late. If it's something to do with lessons or behaviour, then a teacher may put you in what we call a faculty detention. So if you've misbehaved in my PE lesson, and I don't think it's good enough behaviour, then I will refer you to the after-school detention on the same day. Now, a sanctioned detention is slightly different. So if your behaviour warrants you being taken out of that lesson and you have to go to what we call our sanction room, then you'll go to an immediate detention there till 4 o'clock. Obviously, from knowing lots of year sevens when they first come up, we don't really get a lot of detentions in year 7. Possibly the odd ones for like lates and things that sometimes can't be helped, but behaviour-wise, really, we do really have good behaviour for year 7s majority of the time. So hopefully, yourselves in my tutor group, you'll be great kids and you won't get into these detentions. My job there is just to follow it up as well as the teacher that's put you in there, and just have a quick discussion about it and see what was the problem. In each of those detentions, the teacher that has put you in that detention will have what we call a restorative conversation. So it's not a telling off, it's sort of discussion about how and why you've been sent to detention and what we can do to rectify that in future. Okay. Now, rewards. As you can see, there's a really long list there of how and when and what we do to reward our good students. Now, in my tutor group, I want to obviously expect a lot of you do get a lot of CFPs, a lot of people getting praise points. A lot of you are well up on the ranking in effort. We have 100% attendance awards, things like that. Now, a lot of these things, a lot of these rewards are down to you as a student. And one of the things that I always sort of say is you have a choice, and you have a choice to do good things, to help other people, to behave. Yeah. And if things aren't going your way in terms of behavior or you're not doing things, then talk to somebody about it. That's the one thing that I would suggest, is that you don't sort of you know, carry on with that bad behaviour. Come speak to me, and let's see what we can do. Because I want as many of my tutor in the rewards assemblies, you know, picking up #1 effort ranking, getting golden tickets for attendance, getting the gold, silver, bronze award, you know, at the end of the year and things like that. So it is, we always love it at Rowmass to reward the students and recognise students' good behaviour. So make sure that, you know, you're more towards that side of your schooling and not the other one in terms of behaviour. So hopefully we'll get to see a lot of you getting a lot of rewards over this next year or so. So you may have come across this the Rowmass way. You'll see the statements on there in terms of we dream big, and, you know, we are proud of our achievements, and we are respectful and we listen to others. This is sort of a guide really to succeed. That's how I look at it, and that's what we refer to in terms of when we're teaching as well. So if you go through your school sort of looking at this and sort of saying, well, if we work hard and never give less than the best, then you can't go wrong. You know, if you take pride in your appearance, so in terms of having your full school uniform, you know, you're equipped to learn. You've got all what is needed every day for all your lessons. So it may be that you sort of look at it and go by it, go through it in that sort of way. Okay, so that's just something to sort of look at when you get to school and sort of take on board and go through. We have something called a Rowmass Pledge, which has got 3 main sections. It's in terms of active citizenship and British values and life skills. And basically with that, there's a hierarchy of tasks and challenges that you can work towards. And obviously these will be rewarded. So I'll just click to this next slide. And so for Bruns, if you look at the active citizenship and the Bruns column, you'll see that there's something called learn a new skill. Now, if you can evidence to us, to your tutor, to another teacher, that you've learned a new skill, which is something that I'm going to come on to in a little bit, then that box will get ticked. Now, in order to get a Bronze Pledge, you've got to do all the 4 red, for active citizenship, the 4 red tasks. Now, this is not something that you'll do in year 7. It might be something that you'll do throughout your school or in Key Stage 3, where you'll build up to it. So you've got 3 years to get all of these, to get up to your gold. Now, I think it's quite an exciting thing there. There's sort of a lot of things on there that you can sort of work towards and bring into sort of your daily life and make sure you're doing some different things. So be aware of that, and obviously we'll do it. I'll support you where I can as possible. But what we're looking at here is a first challenge, the Bronze Challenge. So as I've just mentioned, to learn a new skill. So before you come back in September, hopefully, what we want you to do is learn a new skill. And the way that you'll do it is either you take a photo, a video, or a diary, or a video diary, or a demonstration. You might have written a piece of work, a piece of poetry. It could be anything that it can be. It could be sport related, it could be music, you've learned the guitar, anything like that. Now, when you come back to, when you come to us in September, we're going to look at this and we're going to see who's done what. And obviously, you know, see what new skills people have learned, and obviously give them a lot of praise and reward for that as well. So something to think about. You know, doesn't need to be done immediately or anything like that. You can do it over the summer, and obviously when we come back, you can sort of show us what you've done as well. This is just something extra that's just been put on there. We do a Chromebook scheme at school, and a lot of students do take them nowadays, and you can use them within lessons. Well, as a learning aid, and obviously if you find it easier sometimes to type things up rather than write it, sometimes it's quite a good option to do. But obviously I'm not going to go through all this, but there's a pricing system there, obviously with a cash option. And there's an email address there that you can ask any questions about. So we do get a lot of students sort of using them now, and it's got really popular in the last sort of 12 to 18 months since we started it. So yeah, any questions about that, email the address there, and obviously somebody will get back to you. Now, this last second to last section here is about student questions. if any Year 6 students have got any particular questions that you'd like to ask our current Year 7s, then I want you to write them down, and obviously you can. There's the section on this website that you can add them to. I mean, you might have a lot of questions still. You know, even if it's simple things like, do I need, I don't know, a towel for PE? You know, you can ask a Year 7 student that. They'll tell you straight away that you don't need one. But that's just an example. It might be about a specific subject. It could be about you know, extracurricular. You know, in terms of what clubs there is after school. Is there anything in music, drama? What shows do we do? Have you been involved in the show, and what were it like? You know, we do a movement evening. We do, you know, other shows throughout the year that you can get involved in. So it might be just things like, not what you need. It might be how did students feel in that first year of being at Rowmass? How did you do in your football team and things like that? So look out for a follow-up video that they're going to share. It looks like they're going to interview a few, you know, students in terms of that, and then we'll share that with you. It would be great to get any questions from you as well. Obviously, if there's any other questions from parents and you know, or from students that parents want to ask on their behalf, then you can ask Mr. Bartle and your transition coordinator, Ms. Tomlinson. What's not on here is that it's something that we have is called a student progress manager, which is probably a link really between students and the head of year, and sort of looks after a lot of students in terms of behaviour and other aspects of school, which is just being decided at the minute who that's going to be. So that's just a little bit, and you'll know that come sort of September anyway. You may meet her before. So if you've got any questions, again, email Mr. Bartle or Mrs. Tomlinson with that, and we'll sort of ease any concerns that you've got. Right. So thank you. I mean, in terms of that, I'll just have a quick look at the chat. Oh, really sorry about that. Hopefully you've got the information there in terms of that. I'll stop recording now. If there's any other questions, again, don't hesitate to ask. I'm really looking forward to sort of meeting everybody. I would have rather have done this in terms of face-to-face. We get a bit more personable and things like that, and we get to know students quickly. But again, what I will say is, don't worry about coming up to Rowmass. You'll have a, you know, you have a good time. There's lots of opportunities for you at Rowmass. So look forward to meeting you. And obviously, any parents have got any questions, please email me, and I'll obviously try and answer them the best I can.